finished reading the pilot, I was blown away. Because I got the sense that they were doing something different. And also the story of the Underground Railroad is a story we haven't heard yet. You know, the Underground Railroad was the first integrated civil rights movement in our nation, in our history. And it was the first time we as people, you know, really rebelled. Well, not the first time, but it was one of the first times we really rebelled. And for me, I wanted to see that story. I wanted to explore us being revolutionaries. I wanted to explore us revolting and fighting back. You know, when I read history books, I would always ask the question, well, did none of us pick up a gun? Like, did none of us fight back? And for me, that was one of the motivating factors.
1857 is a really important year, a very specific year, plus it takes place in Georgia, and we're in Georgia, so we all in there. The Dred Scott case, which is this pivotal case. How many of y'all know about the Dred Scott case, right? So the Dred Scott...
educated and stuff.
This is a very educated group. And so to have that in that first episode positioned as sort of like one of the framing sort of historical points, this case is about this black man who sues for his freedom after being brought, spending time in a free state. He's from Missouri, and then of course the court didn't decide in his favor because he wasn't actually seen as a U.S. citizen. So just to refresh, but to be a part of something that has that historical value, right? So you have that. You
also have the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. Yeah, where even if you were a runaway slave, if you ran from the south to the north, you were no longer protected. Legally, you were supposed to be sent back. And if someone in the north knew you were a fugitive slave and didn't, you know, report you pretty much to the police, they were an accomplice and they had to go to jail too. So nowhere was safe in this time, you know. It took them over 4 years to get this done, and they got a lot of no's. But I think it was meant to be, you know, it's ordained for it to be coming out right now. The fact that we come from kings and queens, and that we are able to overcome anything and be survivors. And we're the ones that built this country, and we're the ones that make this country better every single day. When you worked in the house, you kind of envied the people in the field, oddly enough, because they at least had some sort of sense of community that they can have amongst each other. Me, I work in the house, I'm a loner. I don't fit in anywhere. No one cares to be my friend. You know, and then some things are revealed later on in the show that you'll see why I really don't fit in. But for me, you know, we had such an amazing cast. The scene that you're talking about absolutely was by far the hardest scene I've ever had to do in my life. You know, stepping on the plantation. There's something in the spirit, y'all.
And you shot it where?
We shot it in Baton Rouge on Battery Plantation, and then we also shot at the LSU Rural Life Museum. And you know, it's just the trees. I kept looking at the trees. Yeah, and I just thought, man, what these trees have seen, what they've witnessed, the blood that they've seen, you know. And I kept debating Misha Green, our co-creator, about that scene. I was like, it's not on the page, Misha. Like, it's not here. We had rehearsed it and it just didn't feel right. And I kept saying to her, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I don't know how to make this transition. And it wasn't until the day of us having to do it, I just surrendered. I prayed. I just asked for the Spirit to take over me and just use me as a vessel. And we didn't talk about it at all, we just did it. And once the cameras rolled, I realized the piece that was missing was my little brother, because we rehearsed it without him. And seeing his little face, y'all, he was so good. His name is Maceo. He was so good, seeing his little face, and I realized something dawned on me. What this is about is human dignity and the right to protect those that you love. And that's all Rosalie was trying to do. I mean, she has this inner strength inside of her that she's not even aware of, that comes out in moments like that when she's got to make a split-second decision. And it comes out, and through the first season, I mean, she just changes and she becomes pretty fierce in the first season. And for me, that scene, you know, afterwards, it definitely was the heaviest scene, I think, of the entire season. But we have to show the foundation of where they come from in order for you to appreciate where they eventually go.
I think we're surprised by how raw that combination of it goes there, it's very raw, you're not expecting it to be raw. There's certainly, to be honest, even channels on television you might expect that might be part of the, and then you're like, wow, I didn't expect it to really go there in this first episode, and it shows us that.
Yeah.
And you're blown away by it.
Yeah, thank you. It was definitely, afterwards I just kept shaking and I was crying and, my... but I had an amazing cast. Alice, Amira, Misha, and Anthony just kind of surrounded around me and just held me. And we knew we had to go there. We had to go there because you have to be able to appreciate their arc. You have to be able to appreciate why they have to run. And running is not easy. You attempt to run 600 miles, right? Which is the distance from where they run to the north. And if the dogs don't catch you and the slave catchers don't catch you, the conditions could catch you.
Hydration, starvation.
Yeah, exactly.
When I first came in here, I came in like, another slave, but it's so much depth to the characters. And it's like you gave me like a kind of a black heroine.
Oh, she's a superhero.
Yes, and I'm like, how does it feel to play this character and to know that it's going to be black women and black girls watching you and thinking like, okay, this can be me, or I can make a difference, or I can be something.
You're gonna make me cry.
I'm sorry.
Seriously, that means so much to me. I mean, for me, that's the motivating factor. Is I think of my sisters, I think of my niece, I think of my cousins, I think of all of you in here. Whenever I take on a project, and for me with Rosalie, it was so important for her to be. Look, she's not as strong in this first episode as she eventually becomes, but yes, and it was important to show both sides that, strength is not what we think it always is. Courage is not what we think it always is. You can be afraid, but courage is continuing in spite of that fear. And that, for me, is what I really wanted to try to explore with Rosalie, and showing all of us that we come from Queens, y'all. We come from Queens. And even though we were in this condition, it doesn't mean we were any less valuable. And for me, I can't wait for you to see the rest of the season now. I can't wait for you to see the rest of the season, because these are our heroes. These are our heroes. These are our Justice League. Seriously. And I just wanted to give voice to these stories. And for me, it's such an honor. That comment right there means the world to me. It's why I do it. So I thank you so much.
I thank you so much.
I was wondering, in the series, do they explore like the gray area of people where they don't even realize necessarily that they're racist, but they are doing racist things?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that question. That's a very good point you raised. Absolutely, I think that's something that was definitely important to the writers. And again, as the show goes on, the people you think you know do not turn out to be who they are.
You get that at the end, right?
Well, yeah, a little bit with like Kato and Noah at the end. But even with those characters you're talking about, you might think from this first episode that you have them pigeonholed as a good white man and the bad white man, but trust me, those areas get very gray. And that's something that was exciting for me, because I can't stand that either. Like, I don't like those stereotypical characters, and not everything was black and white. Not everyone was all good, not everyone was all bad, and it's way more interesting to explore the shades of gray. So keep tuning in.
Yeah, you gotta watch episode 2. Watch episode 2.
Because she's seen it. But seriously.
1, 2, and 3.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. No, the thing about our show is it definitely will be it's got a bunch of twists and turns. You think you know what's going on, and then right when you think you figured it out, it's the opposite.
Do you have a special something?
On behalf of Carmen University, we just want to say thank you for coming out and spending the day with us. Our Student Learning Association has a little token of appreciation.
Aw, y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for